Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever time of day it is. Thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Dr. Don. For you new viewers out there, Conversations with Dr. Don is an ongoing series of 1 hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting guests, like most of you out there, about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals, and about what it is we decided to talk about. Tonight we're going to talk about the gym and why people go to the gym and related subjects. And my guests tonight are Kim Moser.
That's correct.
Thank you, Kim, for coming on.
You bet. Thanks for having me, Dr.
And our other guest isn't here yet. Hopefully he will come in the middle of the interview and we'll sneak him in. Jack Gruller. Anyhow. I'm sure glad you're here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm kind of complaining because my blood sugar was low. I got busy in technical stuff. And my director was yelling at me because I wasn't ready for the show, but I'm ready now. So if I fall apart, you'll know why.
Just bring in some more pizza.
And how are you feeling now?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Funny how we got to meet each other at the gym and seeing each other work out and as it goes in the gym, and the viewers will know more about the gym than they care to know by the time we're through with this hour this evening.
Well, hopefully it'll take and change a few people's minds about what they need to do with themselves to keep healthy, and it's a way of actually venting, or if you will, getting out of the house, but creatively coming up with ways of taking care of your body in a fun way. So, yeah, it's a good way.
But I must tell you, I'm a little disappointed because you have a marvelous tattoo on your right shoulder, and I was wanting you to wear a sleeveless shirt tonight, but you didn't wear it.
Well, I actually misunderstood you. I thought you wanted me to cover it up, so I did.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. But again, thanks for coming. So let me go through the usual bio stuff where I talk to you about who you are personally, so the viewers get an idea who Kim is. If I were to ask your best friend, who is Kim? What would your best friend say? He'd say, Kim is what?
A concerning person, somebody who cares, and is a true friend. I think that I stand by people through thick and thin, and that's just part of my trait. So,
it just shows how you're at the gym, because you visit with everybody almost as much as I do.
Never get anything done, do we? It's funny how that 3 hours should be an hour.
Yeah.
But,
and as time has gone by, we've seen each other, and I've seen you working out, and finally decided somehow or other to start talking to each other. And then we found we had a lot in common, and we visited some more, and we've gone to lunch a couple of times in the meantime. And I've enjoyed visiting with you in the gym and outside of the gym and whatever.
Well, thank you. Yes, it's fun. You know, in fact, most of the viewers out there don't know we were working out one day, and I was watching you as you had 35 pounds strapped around your waist with a makeshift belt. Mm-hmm. And you were doing dips. And if anyone in a situation who's in a gym who's doing proper dips, just by their body weight is in itself hard. It's hard to do and hard to do right. But I was watching you, and you were pumping off these dips with 35 pounds strapped around your waist with this makeshift belt. And I had found that the gym supplied these belts, and decided I would walk over and get you one. And you remember what you said to me when I asked you if you wanted to use that belt?
Tell me, I forgot.
You said that you liked the belt you had, and when you were done with it, if somebody gave you some problems, you would just take the belt off and strangle them with it. I thought that was a good use of a belt. Yeah.
Don't believe him. He's a big liar.
I thought that was great.
Well, funny with that belt, because I had created that belt a long time ago before the gym companies. The gym companies came up with all sorts of fancy apparatus, you know. And I'm going to use the old-fashioned one that was handmade, right?
That's right. I was watching a youngster the other day doing dips, the same thing we were doing, but he'd drop down below the bar with his feet off the ground and pick up a 35 or 40-pound weight with his toes and pull it up and do them that way.
Well, we get some weird ones in there, don't we?
You know, he's very dedicated to what he was doing to do it that way. So, but yeah, it's interesting.
So back to who you are personally.
Okay.
When and where were you born?
I was born in Newhall, California. It's a town up north, a small place on the border of Oregon, California.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in the early 40s, 1947. Was in fact, actually, I just celebrated my 65th birthday yesterday.
65.
So
You look
yeah.
good, man.
Well, thank you. Feel good.
Yeah.
It's must be the clean living up here in Oregon, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But-
got another. Go ahead.
But we moved from Newhall not too long after I was born. I guess it was about a year afterwards, and ended up on the East Coast for about 8 years.
Really?
We went to started off in Boston, went down to Atlanta, and then to Cambridge, and then we were from there to Denver, then back out here. So we spent a little bit of time going through the country as I grew up. And,
Why the moving?
That was brought about by my dad's profession. He was in management for Nabisco, National Biscuit Company,
Sure.
and it's now been acquired by Rentals, or not Rentals, excuse me.
That's okay because this is a non-commercial.
Oh, that's
station.
good. All right.
We shouldn't mention
We shouldn't
any
mention that.
corporations.
Cookie company.
Cookie company.
Yeah, cookie company. One of the big ones.
Yeah.
But their style of management training was that every year and a half to 2 years you would be elevated and changed into a new facility, and because each one would manufacture a different type of product. And so this gave them an overall broad base of how the products were being made and packaged and shipped, and it gave them the platform they needed then to advance in their company. He ended up at the very end for the last 15 or 20 years working at a world headquarters, which is located in Chicago, before the company was bought out. But he worked with Congress and the Senate on business relations between how interfacing of business and government would work, how to
Really?
best facilitate the unions and their operations, and it was quite an interesting job for him. He got to travel quite a bit.
So he was kind of high up in the management
He was,
level. Huh?
yeah.
Very
He
good.
he did well for himself.
Did you eat a lot of cookies during those years?
We did. We did. We were blessed with the packages from, and when I went overseas, we got some care packages sent to us that were pretty well loaded with the product. So it was a nice thing.
I have a question to ask you, but I'm afraid that it would sound too corny. What do you think of the Cookie Monster?
It is corny.
There's a remnants of my code.
Is that- yeah.
Exactly. So, can we move on?
Sure, let's go.
Is there anything worth mentioning about your national or cultural heritage, or are you just plain old American white bread?
I'm just an American all the way through. So nothing really spectacular. I think background's German and Irish, a little bit of Scott. But parents, grandparents, all were Native Americans. So been here a long time.
Yeah. Living in different parts of the country, you probably have more an impression of all sorts of types of Americans, huh?
You do. It's, of course, you know, in the length of time that I was there to the point of time now, it's attitudes and everything has changed. It was so different growing up. There were parts of Chicago that were rough to begin with, but are just. I remember as a kid paying lunch money as protection money.
Really?
To
In
not get
Chicago?
Oh yeah, and it was bad then. I guess it's even worse now. But back then, you would you belonged to a gang, or you would be getting constantly paying for protection or getting beat up. One of the two. So you learned to either get tough or join some people that were your friends. So it was interesting. Moving then from there to Atlanta, which was a completely different shift. That's a different, because now we were Northerners.
Yeah.
And we were then in a situation where they definitely had a different attitude towards Northerners back then. And which
you remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah. So, but you know, it was an interesting background to come into contact with, and as I grew up, looking back, I appreciated being able to look back on some of the experiences. It was funny, I think, that growing up, in fact, this was back in Atlanta, they have what they call mulberry trees. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
Oh, yes.
These things are huge, and they have a berry on them, which is much similar to a blackberry or a raspberry.
And they stain your mouth.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Your
But they're
clothes.
great. And then you got this humongous tree loaded with these berries.
And it had a lot of worms on them.
Oh, yeah. we were very, back then, television was pretty non-existent. Well, you know,
Sure.
few people had them, and for the most part, so as a kid, you were outside a lot. You were always, and I had an older brother, so we were always inventing things to do. We were always with kids, making forts, whatnot. And the reason I bring this up is because this is in part why I do what I do today. We had a crate that the refrigerators and stoves used to come in wooden crates. Mm-hmm. And not paper boxes, but wooden crates.
Yep.
And we got this wooden crate from this refrigerator from a next door neighbor, and it was beautiful. It was a house. It was instant house. It was a fort. Well, we took and it took us most of the day, but we managed to rope this thing up and pull it up into the mulberry tree and tie it off. And then we had another rope that we threw out the front off of another limb out in front of this. And what you did was you had this box tied to this tree, and it was our fort. And of course, it would move a little bit when we were in it, you know, so we were kind of careful how we moved around in there. But to get out, you had to jump forward, grab this rope, and then swing out and slide down. Well, that worked great, all up until the point the rope broke. So here it is. I go flying down, and I hit this cyclone fence that's below us, bounced me up in the air, and I came down. And to cover myself, I covered my head going into the ground, and I broke my forearm, my wrist, and my thumb.
Wow.
And I got up, and as I was getting up, my dad had just pulled into the driveway, and I was standing there with an arm that went like this. And then I looked at him, and instantly,
Yeah.
Dad! You know, so he runs me off to the hospital, and I spent all summer in a cast. And so here it is. I got 3 breaks in one place. Mm-hmm. All summer long, I'm in a cast. I fell into a swimming pool. They had to redo the cast twice.
You were mischievous.
It was bad. I was on a bicycle. It flipped off. I was riding on the handlebars, and it broke, and then they had to fix it again. But I remember getting the cast off, and I was going to show all my buddies. And so I'm running down the street to go around the corner of this guy's house, and he had put up a little fence around his petunias. Mm-hmm. I flipped head over heels, and I broke my collarbone. So I spent another 4 months in a cast. And the point of this is, over the years, I've managed to break 11 bones and dislocate both shoulders. And so, in order to stay mobile, I'm finding that working out is a must. And that's partly why I do what I do. It helps keep the arthritis down. It also helps keep joints loose.
At 65, it does well by you.
Oh, if I don't do it, I'm in trouble. So, but yeah, it's so over the years, and my dad often said, you know, I don't think you're going to make it to the age of 21. You keep breaking things on me. So, but thank goodness I did. You know, and but again, it opened doors and things that you have to take care of yourself. You get to a point where you look at your costs involved with medicines and everything else that are sitting in front of you, and to this date, I don't take high blood pressure, I don't take cholesterol, I don't take, occasionally I take aspirin, but to maintain, you have to take your body and start working it. Otherwise, you will find yourself in a situation where you're taking pills, and it's an expense. Mm-hmm. Everything you do is an expense, and you look down the road. These injuries I've had weren't cheap.
And you grin about it.
They weren't cheap. Well, I'm just getting over a shoulder tear that I did last year lifting. I was doing dips, and I had a 90 pounds strapped to my waist, and I was coming down, and the last set I just popped it and tore a rotator cuff. So 6 months of working around it, you know.
Let's postpone the rest of this because I got some new injuries I want to show you. Can we go back to my cheat sheet?
Sure, you bet.
Yeah. Religious preference, do you have one or not?
I'm sorry? Voter?
Religious preference.
I'm a Catholic.
Mm. Oh my God, I've been there, done that.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, I went through an RCI program here just in the last year, which allows me to now take communion. My wife's been Catholic. I was married her now 40 years, and so within the last year, I decided to become full Catholic, and it was a good decision.
Works for you.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad. I miss the regimen, and I was conservative Catholic kid and was an altar boy and that sort of thing. And as the years went by, I was kind of resentful of how the Catholic Church changed its doctrine enough where you can now eat meat on Friday, and one thing after another, and then who knows what else. And I drifted away and became a skeptic, an agnostic, something like that. But occasionally when I meet somebody like you talking about they're Catholic, I immediately go back to the good times too, and how we used to steal the sacramental wine and get drunk.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's good memories about that, but I remember that. And your formal education, what is that about?
I spent 4 years in college. Actually, I've got 2 different degrees. Both of them are associates. I didn't spend too much time in the. Is this the other party?
I haven't done this in a long time. My phone didn't turn it off before the camera started rolling.
I left mine outside.
So,
but I started just with a general degree in college for just the understudies required. And at mid part, I changed into a technical trade and became a dental technician for a number of years.
Dental technician.
I had my own dental laboratory and had a partner that I worked with for a number of years, and we got to a position where we needed to make some changes, and we dissolved the business at that point in time, and it was a rough point in the dental industry. We had a situation where denturists were being interviewed brought in as a means of realigning costs, and the dentist was saying that it got to a point it was pretty political, and I just decided that it was a good time to bow out. We dissolved the partnership, and I went my own way, and I went back in and went into business then, and started as a assistant credit manager for a small company, for a small finance operation, and then I worked my way up through the years into larger companies, and that's what I've done for the last 25, 30 years. And
25, 30 years.
Yeah, so
we're going to get to your work history again. And say a few more words about what you're doing now, how you feed yourself in your work that you're doing.
I feed myself as far.
Earning a living.
Oh, my wife works still, and basically being retired, I have Social Security and a little bit of money coming in from other source, and so we're good until, if anything can be said about the economy right now, it's at a flat point, and we're not seeing too many changes, and you just never know what's around the corner, though, do you? So we'll wait and see. But,
what do you do in your retirement? How do you spend your time other than going to the gym and harassing people like me?
I spend a part of the day doing that, and then part of my job is, as my wife says, if you're retired, then you take care of the house, and so I do. I pretty much, I do the shopping, I do the cooking, I do the cleaning, and what's interesting is when I was raised with 3 brothers, and one of the things my mom impressed upon us all 3 was that you need to learn how to cook. You need to learn how to clean. You need to learn how to take care of yourselves. You may need to know how to do one of these days. And so she raised each of us. We can iron, wash clothes, cook, shop.
You can do all that.
Do it all. And so for years, I basically enjoy cooking. And up until a couple years ago, I was about 60 pounds heavier than what I am now.
60 pounds?
About 60 pounds, yeah.
Wow, you're in good shape now.
It's coming down. But I enjoyed cooking a little too much, actually. So we're.
What's your favorite dish when you prepare that people really like?
I like paellas. I really enjoy making those for people. They're fun. They involve a lot of different spices and a lot of different ingredients, and they're just a fun thing to cook. Comfort food. I like clam chowder. I make a lot of different kinds of soups, and
You make a lot of different kinds of soups, huh?
yeah, I like.
You ever
soup.
make any Cajun or Creole soups?
You know, yes, I do.
You
Yeah,
do?
I do.
You're
I
really
like
far
I
out.
like spicy foods. And,
Yeah.
and my wife doesn't, so I'm pretty cautious with what I do.
Uh,
She puts up with enough heat. You know? When I get to the habaneros, that's enough. You
yeah.
know? So,
Do you make German potato salad?
I make the traditional. I've made German potato salad, but I make just the.
With a German heritage, I would
Yeah,
hope so. We could
it's-
talk about that because I love it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, it's.
And you have children?
I do. I have a boy, 36 now, and my daughter, I mentioned earlier, she graduated a couple of years ago from Oregon State with a degree in telecommunications, and she's now working for the college.
Wonderful.
Yeah, she managed to luck out. It was just an oddball situation, and she'd found out about a job down there and applied and interviewed 2 or 3 times, and they hired her, and so now she's living down in Corvallis. So I have gone to 2 Beaver games, and I'm headed down this weekend to another one against Cal, which we hope will win. After the Ducks roughed them up last weekend, though, they're going to be really upset at us, so we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll be a good game. You know, and it's funny because I was talking to somebody in the gym the other day, and from one of the Duck fans, and he says, you know, the only team that they're really nervous about playing this year are the Beavs. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. So it'll be a good game.
Yeah. You have grandchildren?
I do. I have a little 2-year-old little boy and a little granddaughter, 4.
Yeah.
And they're just at that age where the little girl is extremely smart, very smart. And she, in fact, both of them model. In fact, they have been in Fred Meyer ads, and they've gone on a couple other different ads, and they'll be appearing here shortly in a layout for Fred Meyer's again. So
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. So they're, but she, the little gal is extremely smart for her age, and always mobile, very mobile. She doesn't like playing with dolls. We bought her a microscope for her 4th birthday. And
4th birthday.
And she absolutely just went crazy over this thing. Everything she could find, she was putting under there to see how big she could get it. So, but it's you know, it's fun to see somebody with that kind of interest in things, and she's always.
Do they love Grandpa?
They love Grandpa. They love.
I can tell
They
by
just,
the look in your eye right
yeah,
now.
yeah. They're awfully good kids.
Are they going to see a video of this show? You show it to them?
I don't know. We'll see.
Tell them something on that camera right there. Look at them and tell
Hey
them.
kids, Grandpa says hi. We'll see you Saturday. We'll see you at Thanksgiving.
Yeah. You have any comment about your political persuasion, or your left, right, centrist, or moderate, or
You know,
Tea Party, or what?
40 years ago, I got registered as a Democrat. And over the years, I've learned that I don't go by party anymore. I vote by candidate and the ground that they stand on and what they believe in. So I'm pretty forward in that respect. I have to.
I think that's a healthy way to be.
Yeah, and I think that people that are stuck with just a party belief are just so one-dimensional in that respect, and I'll just leave it at that.
You betcha.
So.
Because as the years go by, the party takes on a different flavor about every 10 or 15 years.
Nothing stays the same, does it?
No. Okay, memberships in political, social, or civic organizations. Any of those come to mind for you? Some people join, some people don't.
You know, I'm a member of the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I love those guys. We're going out and cut Christmas trees here shortly, and so. But as far as other groups, over the years I belonged to a couple sports car rallying and racing groups, and aside from that, no, I'm pretty
You're a sports car enthusiast.
I am. I've had a Triumph, an old TR6 I restored, and I've had that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I run it in rallies and put it in shows, and I've had it for about 25 years now.
You still got it?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
son of a gun.
Yep, it's a lot of fun.
I think of my old Austin Healey 3000.
Is that, oh, those are hard to come by now.
Sweet.
Yeah, you still have that?
Oh no, I lost that a long time ago because I had to get rid of it because it was going to kill me. Because about 2 in the morning after the joints were closed, I'm going down the freeway, nobody around, and no cars, no nothing. I figure, oh my, I'll open this sucker up, you know, that straight six, tuned exhaust. Oh, and suddenly out of the blue comes a damn siren. And they got me. So 3 times they nailed me, and the 3rd time the judge said, no fine for you. You're going to have to spend some time in jail because you will not stop speeding in that Healy. So they put me in jail for 4 days.
No.
And I learned.
Yeah.
Besides, when I had I had to go to traffic school, and they showed this car. The story unfolded in the video, and he's speeding down Pacific Coast Highway, and then he crashed. And then they showed the different pieces of this car, and it was like it was blown up with dynamite. And there was one piece that had the door handle on it. You know, that 3000, a unique door handle. And I could recognize that was an Austin Healey 3000. That was my car. And I thought, this car is going to kill me, or somebody going to kill me in jail, so I sold it. So that's my story about my sports car.
That must have been some time ago, because they
A long, long
yeah,
time ago. I think it was 1960.
Yeah. They're a little more lenient than they are nowadays. Now it's a lot more stringent, a lot more strict. My kids know that. My son, particularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Persons from the past, anybody alive today that you particularly admired or look up to? Anybody at all? Some people have those and some people don't.
No, actually not. I'm more I gravitate towards some of the people who passed away, I think, and their achievements.
Like who?
Well, my first would have to be God, Jesus.
Sure.
And I think that Mother Mary would be another one coming to mind, and Martin Luther King, some of his achievements. And I think that I look at Henry Ford and how he managed to take business and put it into a profitable manufacturing mode and teach a lot. Eli Whitney, Edison, some of the people in the past have just really set our future for us. And so far, I look at Bill Gates and some of the others at present time and some of their achievements, but I don't think that they can hold a candle to some of these people from the past.
Yeah, because they started the middle class.
Yeah.
And Ford charged enough for those cars where the working people could buy the ones they were making. Yeah, so I feel good about him too. I just had a notice from the control room that they're going to yell at me if I don't take a break.
Are we going on break?
Let's take a break in there, Mr. E. The mic's going to be off in a minute for a few minutes as we gather our thoughts.
We've talked for half an hour already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for staying tuned. Now, for your first-time viewers, people who didn't see the opening of the show, Conversations with Dr. Don that you're watching is an ongoing series of one-hour standalone talk shows where I interview interesting people like most of you out there about who they are as unique, one-of-a-kind individuals and about whatever it is we have decided to talk about. And my guest tonight, Kim Moser.
Yes.
And the other guest hasn't shown up yet, Jack, but we'll forgive him if he doesn't show. And we're having a good time so far. And during the break, Kim said, "Has a half an hour gone by that quick?" And it has. So let's get into the meat of the show. Two fellows who go to the gym, there's two of us now, and a little about history about the gym and staying healthy and that sort of a thing. So I have a cheat sheet that I will start with. And of course, the first question is, why do you go to the gym?
First reason that comes to mind is the to keep the first the body in tone. It's for me. I've injured myself, as I said prior, many times, and to keep myself to where I can actively participate in just day-to-day activities, I've got to keep my limber, keep myself moving. The other side of that is that there's an esteem issue. I think, and I feel good when I'm in there and I get something accomplished. I set a goal and I'm able to work through that. It feels good. You know, you feel that you've been able to accomplish something, and 6 months prior to that, maybe you couldn't. Maybe it's the amount of weights or the number of reps that you're doing, or the style of push-ups, or whatever it might be. But it's something that's been a hurdle that you've set a target to take and get through and do, and you're able to do it. And to me, that feels good. I'm pleased most of the time that I'm in there that I can get through some of these things.
So it pleases you to work out, huh?
It does. You feel good about yourself. It's an esteem issue. It allows you to, when you're out of there, you walk out. There are days I dread going in there. I'm tired.
I know.
You know, I'm tired. I get out of bed, if I be honest with you, I work out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then a lot of those days I'll do double workouts. I'll go with my wife in the evening, and so I'll work out for 2.5, 3 hours in the morning. And then she gets off work and she'll have a class from Pilates, or she'll have a bodybuilding class of hers. And so I'll go back, maybe not to join her, but I'll do another workout. So there are days where
it's really in your blood. I'm not that dedicated, but that's wonderful.
Yeah, but you get to a point where you look forward to it. You become it's almost an addiction to a certain degree. And when you don't do it, you start feeling guilty.
Oh yes.
The benefits are that you. I was able to, when I started the program, I was taking high cholesterol. I was on medication for high cholesterol, blood pressure.
Really?
I'm off both those.
Wow.
I'm limiting the number of, because I've got a slip disc in the back. I've compressed a disc when I was younger, and the only way to cure it is to have operation, but I put it off and I keep it limber, so occasionally I have to take a pill for that, but not too often.
So that speaks well for taking care of yourself physically.
Physically.
You won't have to do them damn drugs so
That's
much.
right.
Pardon my language on
that. That's okay, but that's true. And you know, it allows you to meet people as well. I mean, it's an interesting place to be. There are, yourself included, there are a lot of interesting people in there. Yes. It's not. You have to recognize when to talk to people, because a lot of times you're busy and doing a set, you don't want to be bothered. But they're, you know, understanding the etiquette of the position of the gym. That most times people are willing to stop and help you, and that's another thing. Recognize when somebody's needing help on a bench press and stop and help. So
that is unique. And you know, right now I'm going to brag, because at my age, I'm mid-80s, I still am learning. And what you just said, I'm recognizing that more than I used to, even 10 years ago, that an important reason I go to the gym as often as I do is because I get to visit with people. Yeah. And it's just, and like you said, knowing how much I like to visit, I gotta watch it.
Yeah, we all catch ourselves at doing that. You know, and you're in with, I fish a lot too. And in fact, I asked I mentioned that to you not too long ago. I'm looking for a way of getting you down into to a boat with us and seeing if I can't get a salmon for you this year. But
and I told my wife, and she says, "You're going to bring us some fish back."
Yeah.
And then when I told
Never
her we wasn't
promise her
going to
that.
go,
No, no, don't promise her
she
anything.
got mad at me. She's looking forward to some fresh fish.
Yeah, no, and that's the worst thing in the world. You go down, and if you get one, you're lucky. Right?
Sure,
So,
sure.
but the thing is that you're with like people.
Yes.
And everybody has a general reason for being there. And most of it is that they're trying to better themselves, whether it be lose weight. You get people in there that are hypertensive, and they're trying to get stress-related issues off through their workout. And so you'll find that there are many different types of workouts. You and I are just, I do Pilates, I do yoga twice a week, bench press, and then I'm doing circuit training. So I do 4 different parts, and you see different people in there, and they're doing the same thing. An older person might be in there for what? Just to keep limber, just to keep himself going.
Sure.
Younger people are in there, and a lot of them are just bodybuilding, and so they're specifically designing their programs around the weights, free weights, and staying in that. Whereas you see people in there on cycles, and they're in there cycling, they're trying for endurance. So it's, if you can wrap a whole package and understand what people are doing in there, then it's for me, I start off with 20 minutes on the cycle, or 20 minutes on a treadmill, do 15 to 20 minutes of cycle of circuit, which involves 7 different exercises, 30-minute rest between each one. So you might do 20 push-ups, jump up, go over and do 10 pull-ups, drop down to the ground under a bar and do 10 pull-ups off the floor, and then go over here and do an extension.
I'm tired just listening to you.
So these are things, and so there are all kinds of programs, and most people say, I'm going to the gym. Well, why are you going? Are you going to lose weight? You're trying to reduce stress? You're trying to get yourself limber? Are you, these are a lot of things that people, when I'm in there, that's one of the first things I start off with was losing weight. That was my first reasoning for going. I wanted to lose weight because it was associated with high blood pressure.
60 pounds.
60 pounds.
Holy Moses.
So, and it doesn't happen overnight. And I think that's part of the problem with people is you see commercials and you see all these magazines that come out and said, gain 2 inches in 4 weeks of muscle, lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. And they're not real. It doesn't work that way, to properly do it. And I've been watching this young man, and I myself included. It took 6 to 8 months to get it down and to keep it off through working out, and you start off with a treadmill. You start off with cardio. Cardio is a great way of getting your body, of getting your body. And then the next thing before you jump into it, because I did hurt myself several times, not knowing when to stop. So get a trainer. If you're going to go into powerlifting or things
serious
stuff, get somebody that knows what they're doing, is willing to spend a few dollars to learn from them. It's a lot cheaper than going through therapy.
I'm glad you're not mentioning the particular gym we're going to,
because
we're not supposed to do.
Yeah, well, I don't. But it's taking if you were to throw things out to somebody is a learning advice, that would be to choose what you want to do. If you're going in and say, hey, I'm overweight, fine. Approach the weight issue first, and then from that point, believe it or not, you're going to feel like, geez, I've lost 20 pounds, I feel good. Then you're going to say, oh, I want to do something else. And one of the least strenuous for a person for your joints and other things is, 1 is swimming, 2 is some of your Pilates exercises, and yoga. Very good for building strength and flexibility. And then start up from there, go to your weightlifting.
Reminds me of a little story I got to tell you.
Sure.
At our club, there's a swimming pool, and then there's a water exercise class, and a lot of older folks in there, even older than us. And there must be a good 30 women in there, and maybe 9 or 10 men. And there's a woman who leads it, and boy, she's very healthy and strong, and she's really solid built. and she's waving her hands around and doing all sorts of things, and in the pool they're following her, you know. Well, I got so, well, I'll stand on the side, and when she looks my way, I'll go imitate her. Yeah. And she shake her fist at me. And